I just left the Calf Mountain shelter not 5 minutes ago, and I'm already in the rocks and the mud, so my hike today is just less than 12 miles, and although it's fairly level, it may take a while given this terrain, and from what I hear from the southbound hikers, it was pretty darn muddy. I was crossing my fingers last night that the mud would magically disappear, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So I am just going to pick my way through it, and I did try to wash out my shoes and socks when I got into camp last night, but they're still pretty soaking wet. The air just wasn't dry enough for things to dry out, but fortunately it is not supposed to rain today, even though it feels like it and looks like it might, but it's supposed to be cloudy this morning and then sunny this afternoon, so I might get a chance to dry out a little bit when I get into Dalton. That would be nice. Looks like another beaver bog. And actually where I just came through, you can see there's a trap, it looks like right there. I guess they're trying to reduce the impact on the environment. I think it's kind of funny when you see a big puddle and one feeble little board. It's no match for all the mud around it. It would take a whole forest full of boards to cover all this mud. I've seen some really cool mushrooms, all kinds of different colors, but this one really is striking. And it's pretty huge. You can see my shoe there to get an idea just how big that thing is. I checked Gut-Hook just a few minutes ago, and it took me an hour to go my first 1.3 miles. And that's including a couple of little stops for pictures and some water, so probably closer to 1.5. But really the mud and the rocks and the roots are definitely slow you down as you sort of pick your way through and try to find the right footing. Right now I'm going through a kind of a pine forest, as you can see behind me, and this is a little bit more forgiving terrain, so if I get a few miles of this I can make up some time, but otherwise I think it's going to be a slow day. And the other thing about that is, yeah, sometimes it's completely futile to try to keep your feet wet, and yesterday after, well, the very last mile was just all water, all mud, so I completely gave up and just started sloshing through. But if you're kind of sort of trying to keep your feet dry, you definitely are slow, but then also picking up your legs, constantly stepping up and over. It's kind of like climbing stairs all day long, and it does fatigue you. So that's an added challenge of having all the mud and the hidden roots and the rocks underneath it. But overall, it's really a beautiful forest, so the hike itself isn't bad, just a bit of a challenge. I just came onto this little dirt access road, and thank goodness for Gut-Hooks today, because when I came out of the trail I didn't see any white blazes, and Gut-Hooks was able to show me that I take this little access road to cross the paved road up there, which is Washington Mountain Road. And if I were to go to the east just a little bit, I would go to the Creaky lady's house. She is known for giving people snacks, and she has also got a pick your own blueberry farm and sells eggs and other things like that. But since I am going into Dalton today, I think I can bypass those treats and just keep hiking on, because it's, well, as you know from what I said before, it's kind of a slow morning. So I'm just going to keep trucking. Thing about all the mud is that as it starts to dry up, it's a little more viscous, and it actually captures the tracks of all the animals that use the trail at night or when people aren't looking. And so far I've seen several different tracks. I'm not a good tracker, so I don't know exactly what they are, but pretty sure that some deer, raccoon, dogs probably, possibly a bear or two. So it's really kind of interesting to look at those. I've been trying to take some pictures, but they don't always show up well on film, but I'll show you what I've got, see what you think. Well, I'm taking a break on a log. It's 10 o'clock and I've gone barely 4 miles in 2.5 hours, so not the best speed today. The mud I'm finding is really exhausting, which makes me worry a little bit about what I'm going to face in Vermont, but I'll deal with that when I get there. And I was just passed by two trail runners, not together. The guy passed first and he was just kind of flying down the trail once I got out of his way, and then after I sat on this little log here, a woman came by and I said, how's it going? And she's like, well, look. And she looked down and she was covered from with mud from head to toe, and she must have just had a massive wipe out on the trail, poor thing. But she looked like she wasn't hurt, and she was just trying to catch up with the other guy. So I guess they were out having fun in the mud today, and I'm trying to have fun in the mud, but like I said, I'm finding it exhausting. And I got a good night's sleep last night, so I shouldn't be that tired. But yeah, I guess it's just using muscles that I'm not accustomed to using, so I'm gonna have to get my mud muscles working. I'm about 2.5 miles from Dalton now. I just came down the hill and crossed this creek right here. It's really pretty. Love the sound. And now I have just a hill to climb, and then I think another little down, and then I'll be in Dalton, which will be great. Looking hopefully forward to staying at, I believe his name is Tom Levardi, in his house, a trail angel, where he lets you tent in the yard. And I may get myself to the community center to get a shower, because I know I don't smell very good. And then priority one after that will be town food. This doesn't look too bad, but that looks like a lot of climbing. And I'm not sure if I need to go up to the top of that or not, but taking a quick break here and I'll get back to it. Alright, well fortunately I didn't have to climb up that big rock that I showed you. Been walking kind of alongside it, sort of parallel and up as we go. It's a much more gradual climb, but wow, it's taking it out of me for some reason. I don't know why. It must be that mentally I'm ready to be done for the day. But I'm not done. I got 2 more miles to go and some more climbing. I was spared the big rock, but that was in the middle of the trail coming downhill, so I just had to go down the side there. It was a little tricky. And this is what I have ahead of me, so I'm not sure. It might be an interesting welcome to Dalton downhill. Well, I made it out of the woods. Here's my first view of Dalton. And I'm going to be heading into town and hopefully find Tom Levardi's house.